to anybody who may come across this video, me and Sag have been knowing each other for a long time. So basically, we're just having a conversation. Really, I can't really call this an interview because it's just a peek into the conversations that we be having sometimes. So, I mean, it's much more things than Locs, but we both have Loc platforms. So we're just gonna give y'all a little peek into the Loc conversations that we be having. And so we're gonna talk about freeform Locs and like where is it going? Where do you think freeform Locs is going?
You asking me?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, sorry. Okay. Hi guys. I don't know if you're like Johnny's followers or whatever. You probably don't know me. Yeah, anyways. So where I think Freeform Locs is going, if you guys have not recently been searching Freeform Locs on, I'm sure you search Freeform Locs on YouTube, Freeform Dreads, Freeform Locs. You see the different videos that pop up, and you see a lot of locks that don't look like Freeform Locs, sponge method locks. They're even like twisted locks. So I just feel like Freeform Locs is going down like a wrong, like the term Freeform Locs is going down a wrong path. And so, um,
I
yeah.
think man, like with a lot of things, like once it starts to spread, then it's going to change in some type of way. Like just take marriage, right? You know, marriage and gender roles. Like it's been around for so long that it's eventually going to start changing. You know what I mean? Now, some people might look at it and be like, well, it didn't used to be like that. And they don't like how it's, you know what I'm saying, starting to evolve or change now. So I would kind of look at it like that. Um, the athletes and entertainers, like, I don't want to say they know about it, but I think what happens is the more people, again, the more people start to get a hold of it, then the meaning of it is going to start changing. So I think that you got the younger generation, a lot of the younger generation who has gotten a hold of it, and they're putting their own spin to it. You know what I mean? Which is not, it's not a bad thing. It's just what happens. Um, I think though also what happens is that you got the group of people who want to, you know what I'm saying, that they got a hold of it and they just want to put their own spin on it. And then you got the people who change it as far as I don't like it, or I think that it should look a certain way. So now I'm going to say it's this, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Then it just, and now people start to, now somebody who don't really, who look at this type of dreadlocks and be like, man, it's kind of hard to, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to walk around like that. They see somebody who has moved the goalposts on it, and now they're like, oh, that's freeform Lux. I can do that. You know what I mean? So it starts to, you know what I'm saying? And so people start to pick up on it and they start to see it, and it just starts to change. So
Right. Um, and so that's where we are at right now. It's a lot of the people that were uncomfortable with the process of freeforming, completely letting their hair go. So they chose to do something else, and they were still calling it freeform locks. And so people see that, the majority of that, because it's not that many people that actually truly want to freeform, but they say they want to freeform. So the majority of videos that are on YouTube are of people that don't really want to truly freeform, and they're making videos. And so like people that search it, they see this and they automatically assume like, oh, that's freeform locks, and then they make a video and continue to spread the misinformation. Um, so it's getting to the point where like I don't even want to use the term freeform.
Yeah. I have started to not use the term freeform locks or freeform in my videos, and like as in my titles at least. Like, and it's not because I'm trying to like be different, or I think I'm saying I'm above, or I'm trying to separate. I just feel like there's so much confusion about it. It's like it's so much confusion sometimes. It's like, dog, it's like this is just too crazy. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's too complicated. People make it way more complicated than it is, like way more. And so just the term, and then people are trying to. There's some attention around the term, and so
A lot.
on social media, when there's attention around something, everybody tries to use it. Everybody gets on it, and so for me, I'm just trying to get away from that term for simplicity, man. Like, so I'm just going back to using good old dreadlocks, man, because it's just it's so much more simple. And the freeform locks, again, with people, a lot of people trying to get attention from it. Anything is freeform locks right now. Sister lock is freeform
Anything,
locks, right?
literally.
Literally freeform locks. So it doesn't really have the same meaning for the people who are in that space, So for that reason, I'm gonna choose not to just even really use it in my titles and whatnot. I just go back to dreadlocks, man. It's just so much simplicity around it.
Yeah. Because freeform locks, we've talked about this before. It's a new term. So, um, the first term that was used that we all know of is dreadlocks, and um, a lot of us have gotten away from using dreadlocks for many of reasons. But when you type in dreadlocks now, you type in dreadlocks in Google, and people say, "Oh, I see white people come up." That's because they're using it because we're not. So it's to the
Right. So
yeah,
a lot of people don't understand. That's another thing people understand. Like a lot of times, like if you look up certain terms, like it's because on social media, like a lot of other places, we use locks, or we call them freeform locks, or what I'm saying, whatever else we choose to call them. But so now it's like people are, what I'm saying, if you don't use dreadlocks because people think the term is bad for whatever reasons, so your images are gonna come up when you use it, when you type it in, because obviously because you don't use it on, what I'm saying, like the social media stuff. But like, so if you type on freeform locks, you know what I'm saying, like more black people are gonna come up. So it's just
or
it's how it is.
locks, LOCK, you
Right.
know. Um, but it's like, okay, you guys don't like that word because the main thing I hear is, my locks aren't dreadful. I already know
Which
about.
I will always say every time I hear that saying, that it's corny. It's
Yeah,
corny,
so
man.
it's just like, but why do white people using dreadlocks now? Like, why are white people using dreadlocks, and they're using it, and they're, hashtagging it up, like they're using it now. It's like, in a sense, when I think about it, it's like they pushed us out the way from using that term, and now we have to continue to create these new terms for our hair, and it's just like manicure locks. I mean, that's a term, I guess, but like, twisted locks, salon locks, freeform locks, semi-freeform locks, sister locks, like so many
I
locks.
mean, you know what? I don't even know if I don't know that they pushed us out from using it. I just think that, and okay, so we're kind of going to another subject, another topic, because I think what happens is, or happened is that people got too deep for their own good. So they're like, I'm not using dreadlocks because there's nothing, there's nothing dreadlock, whatever, that saying, right? So then you start using other terms. And then out of those terms, other terms evolve, like just take freeform locks, right? Somebody, the word, the term freeform locks came about, right? So then out of that, somebody said, well, I'm not freeform, I'm a
Not
semi-freeform.
freeform.
So then that term is, you know what I'm saying? So then you just keep, you know what I'm saying? It's different terms keep evolving. So now you have 50 different terms, and then there's still dreadlocks. So, and then there's
Yeah.
a group of people who just decide to, like, man, we just gonna call that shit dreadlocks. You know,
Right.
so
So I think we need to get back comfortable to just like he said, being simplicity, and calling our hair dreadlocks, because if you look at older pictures of people with dreadlocks, like their hair was natty. There wasn't like, their hair was natty, and I feel like even like like people starting to um twist their locks up and maintain them beyond like this, that's fairly new too,
yeah,
so
that probably didn't start until like the '90s, late '90s or so, mid to late '90s, I think,
okay,
somewhere in
because
the '90s.
I know
Um,
older people that have like what we call freeform locks now. They
say
had
what?
their locks back in the '80s, and I asked them, I'm like, what did you call them, like what did you call them there? They're like, I didn't call them freeform locks, they were
Right,
dreadlocks.
right.
you
That's what I'm
know
saying. It's called dreadlocks,
they
man.
were dreadlocks. So it's just like, dude, if we see where freeform locks is going, I get it. Whoever started it, um, they had like
I
a
mean,
good,
it meant something at first. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
it's not. It doesn't. You know, it doesn't now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that it's complicated now. You know what I'm saying? It's more complicated than it ever was because people and like people gonna listen to this. Like, we don't want y'all to think that we're trying to police people's hair or nothing like
right,
that. We're police anything. It's just that we more talk about the stuff surrounding that. You know what I'm saying? It's not too. It's not so much about what you want to use and what you don't want to use, how you want to lock your hair, how you don't want to lock your hair. It's really not about that. So you can like. That's why we're trying to get people to see through the conversations of it's really not about that. It's more about like the outside stuff around it, the psychological stuff surrounding all of this stuff and why we do it, why we have from term to term, and why people lie about it. And all that. Like there's a lot of psychological stuff around it. So that's what like it's mainly about.
yeah. Um,
Why do you think that it's so hard for people? Freeform. Why do you think that's so hard for people?
that's um, it's various reasons, but I think the main reason is just really being uncomfortable with how it's forming, because you don't know how it's going to form. You can't control it. So it's like literally like, how in the spiritual world they say completely surrender. It's literally like you're completely surrendering to your hair. Like your hair is going to do its thing, you know? So, um, looking in the mirror every day and you seeing your hair, like, look, this is the beginner stages. His is more mature. It's like, it's still in the top, it's still doing its thing, but his is like, it calmed down, you know.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
people like that stage where his locks are. In the beginning, people like, oh, I don't know.
I
Let me
think people start. I think people and they like the I always say that they like the idea of it. It's because it sounds good in your head. Like, man, okay, I'm gonna grow these locks, and I'm going to. And that's nothing. People think that this is going to make them embrace themselves, and it's not going to. Like that's inside of you. So they like the idea of it, then they start doing it. That's why a lot of people don't really last, man. Like you pretty much know who's gonna last and who's not gonna last. Like, but most people are not gonna last with this. Like, and it's okay, you know what I mean? It's okay to try stuff. It's okay to try it out and see if it's for you or not. You know what I'm saying? I think that though, once people struggle with it because they think that it's going to help them embrace certain aspects of themselves, and it actually pushes them further away from that
Mhm.
because they're trying to do this, and it's like that ain't you, you know. So now you're fighting and struggling with yourself, simply trying to grow your hair a certain way. So I think a lot of people don't last because they think that it's going to make them a different person, and that doesn't happen. And simply, they just don't like the way it looks. And
Right.
that's just as simple as that. A lot of times they don't like the way it looks. Like, man, my hair. You're not used to, like you said, you're not used to just doing nothing to your hair, letting it form how it's gonna form. And a lot of people don't like, they don't like to admit it that, man, when I go out, like
Beautiful.
I don't feel comfortable. I feel like people looking at me. My family members are looking at me. They want to know what the hell going on with me. I'm looking at my damn self, like you said, looking in that mirror, and you're like, man, my hair's sticking up, and I just don't feel, you know what I mean? I don't feel in place today. So that's where I think that's one of the, there's a couple of reasons why people just, it's so hard for people, and they don't usually make it through. Like, people don't really make it through like the first
A year.
year, yeah, about the first year, like, yeah.
Sometimes 6 months. Especially coming from a woman, as a woman perspective, I feel like it's a little bit more challenging, because
Yeah.
of the obvious reasons, like, beauty standards, like, our hair is supposed to be done. Like, a guy, he can look a little bit, they say this look rough or something. Like, a guy, he can go outside and, like, I'm not saying that guys don't struggle, but I'm saying, like, women, like, we gotta be on the
Yeah,
100.
it's a whole different. Yeah, it's definitely a whole
Yeah,
different world, man.
we have to be on 100, like, all the time. Like, so us being brainwashed like that, like, okay. And going through this journey, this process it can be taxing on the mind. So not only are people struggling with their physical appearance, like, oh yeah, I don't like how my hair is forming, they're struggling now mentally, and it's making them, like, want to be like, should I cut my hair? Should I comb it out? Should I get it retwisted? Should I continue to do this? Like, they are battling. And now, like he said, it's a psychological thing. It's like, it's not just how we look. It's literally like free, like, wearing your hair like this, you will go, it's like a therapist or something. Like, I feel like I don't know, man. People go through some mental stuff, and then that's when you go back into the, like, you start manipulating it, which is
Now, let
fine.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. So, as a woman, do you feel like these types of dreadlocks? I don't want to say make. Do you feel like? Because I've heard a lot of women say, and I've met a lot of women who they like this look. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, it's different for men than women. Like, I'm not saying that, obviously, I'm not saying that there's no men who don't like women with these types of dreadlocks or freeform dreadlocks, right?
It is.
So, but I've met women, and they feel like it's more of a, it gives men more of a masculinity to them. Like, what do you say about that? Do you feel that
It
too?
gives a woman more.
Man, like, it gives, like, I've met women who said that it gives, like, for men, like, what I'm trying to say is that,
Oh,
like, that's one advantage that we have, like, because, like you said, it's different because we can, as a man, you can walk around like this, and women will feel like it adds to your masculinity, to the look of your masculinity, I should say.
because I know different types of people that freeform and wear their hair like this, and I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't agree to it. it this is what I think. I think it just depends on how that person carries themselves. Okay, but the air you said that it adds to it, because, like, I mean, I feel like the hair. I don't know. Like, I feel like if a guy is gonna be masculine and you feel like, I mean, it's just how he carries himself. Like,
I would, I wouldn't feel masculine with twisted hair.
well, then that's a personal thing
That's
for
what I'm
you.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's a
But,
personal
but that's
thing.
not to say. But that's not to say that I think that dudes who have twisted locks are
And
unmasculine.
that's what I'm saying. I know guys that have freeform locks that are not, like, as masculine. That you know. So, and then I know guys with freeform locks that it add on to the shoe. You'll be like, oh, this is my protector. Like, it's just a lot of that. But I wouldn't, as a woman, like, I don't feel less feminine with my hair like this. But that will be someone else's opinion. Just like you said, if you had twisted locks, you would feel less masculine. That's
Yeah,
just
I'm right.
it's case by case. Like with me, I don't feel so I
I would
can't.
feel, and I would also feel less masculine without a beard.
I was gonna say the beard.
Yeah, I can't walk
Beard,
around bald.
yeah, beard. See, like, so you got the beard and the, yeah, you probably like a lion, and people they like, ooh,
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah. So
it, it's definitely a different. Women definitely have a different experience growing their dreadlocks like this because they have the woman factor, the feminine factor that it's supposed to be.
yeah,
So
but you can still women. You can still be feminine with your hair like this, okay?
absolutely.
I mean, it like I said, it's about how you carry yourself. Like you don't even have to dress girly. Like it's just I don't even like see I don't get into that feminine this I don't because I know a lot of people that they be like that whatever like I don't want to get into all that but like you can still all I'm saying is you can still feel beautiful and like you not so aggressive or something like maybe that's what the word is like oh my hair is like this I'm an aggressive woman I just like I don't know I don't care about like how I
People
look.
just be having the people have the notion that anybody who grows their hair like this doesn't care about their
Doesn't
upkeep.
care. Hmm.
So add that to being a woman, and now because people think that because you're a woman, you're supposed to be
Exactly.
pretty all the time and upkeep all everything's supposed to be how people
Right.
view it all the time. And now you have locks like this, and it's like, oh man, like she don't really
Right. Why she not
care about herself,
her
like
hair?
but that's not the case, man. Like at all. Like actually, I don't want to say that someone who grows their hair like this cares about themselves more because I mean, again, like
That was my thoughts. You took it out
yeah,
because
it's
I was going to say something similar to that. Like,
it's case by case basis. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think you can blanket either way, but as far as their hair goes, they kind of gotta be a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? If you want to actually have these types of locks and they be clean, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have to put maybe a little bit more care in them because they're thick and all of that stuff.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
people think that you don't upkeep yourself, man. But man or woman, that doesn't mean that. You know what I mean? It don't mean that. So
Hmm. Like, kind of breaking the stigma of dreadlocks like these are dirty, and you are a bum. You don't take care of yourself. You don't give a fuck about how you look. Like, oh my god, are you depressed? Like, no. So it's not any of those things. And like Johnny said earlier, like some people, they didn't you say something about them trying to like do this as a self-love thing or something? You said
yeah,
something.
yeah. When
Yes.
people try to make use locks or use hair to make them love, like them, make themselves embrace themselves.
Right. So it is a lot of people that still love themselves with this hair, but not all. Like not all people with free from locks actually, they struggling with their self love journey. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love themselves. That's why they wearing their hair like this. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted when he brought up the self love thing, I wanted to add in that people tend to use freeform locks or their hair like this as a tool. Like, they think that it's going to, like, I don't know if he really said that, but they think that it's going to make them love themselves. Like they literally think
Right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because they think because I think because they people view us also. There's a different boxes that people view you when you have your locks like this. Um, obviously one of them is you're uncleanly. Now, then you have the other things. Well, he must be a musician, or they must be artistic, or they must be woke, or they must be, you know what I'm saying? Like there's
Right.
a lot of boxes, a lot of things, a lot of
Yes.
people paint you with, you know what I'm saying, when they see you have your hair like this. And so I think when people see people like this, they feel like, well, because Johnny has his dreadlocks like that, he must really it must be really embracing himself as a person, embracing his blackness, embracing nature, and all of that stuff. Now, that may or may not be true.
Right.
But if they think that it's true, they say, you know what? I want to do that too. I want to get in touch with nature. I want to embrace my blackness, or I want to embrace myself. So they try to grow their hair like this. And that's not the reality. That's why I say a lot of times people will romanticize it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because my hair don't make me do any of those things. You know what I mean? I'm just now my life experiences make me do or don't do those things. So I feel like a lot of times those what people do, they because they have a vision of a person who has locks like this.
Mm-hmm.
They think that's what it's going to be, and that's how it's going to be when they start growing these locks. But that's not. That's when they
Right.
find out the reality of it. And again, we circle back around to people not being able to stick with it once they find out the reality of what it's really like to try to grow your hair like this.
Right. So, uh, all that to say is like, don't. I mean, it is nice. Like, if you want to try out the journey, like try out like your hair like this, fine. Make sure you continue to be honest, but I wouldn't say going into it like, oh, this is going to help my self-love. Maybe this is going to help me love myself better and my natural hair better. And, it's just going to really help. It's not. It's not. Um,
No,
it's not.
no,
It's
now don't
probably,
get me wrong. Like if you already have those things, or if you find other ways to do those things, and you just happen to grow your hair like this, I mean, yeah, it helps a little bit, but it's not. It can't be your driving factor behind
yes.
those.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Because I feel like it's going to do the opposite.
Yes,
Because
oh, yeah,
that's
absolutely. Yeah,
why people don't stay with it. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm ugly.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hate my hair like this. Oh my gosh. And it's just like, no, I thought that you were on a self-love journey and you're doing the opposite. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you're that low already with your self-love and with your confidence, wearing your hair like this is not going to.
And also, like, just because you can't grow your hair like this doesn't mean the opposite. It doesn't mean that you don't love yourself. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that it's just not for you. Simple
Yes.
as that. It's just not for you. Now, there's some things that you may have to, come to grips with, some realities about um, how you view things and all of that stuff. Yes, but at the end of the day, like we just talked about, we got our preferences, man. It just is what it is. I'm not about to walk around without a beard on my face. I'm not
Please
about to walk around with, you know
don't.
what I'm saying? It's just, you know what I'm saying? It just is. And and now that doesn't mean I don't, you know what I'm saying, love certain aspects of myself, or I don't love those, you know what I'm saying, or love or like those types of people who are able to, you know what I'm saying, I do like to walk around like that, you know what I mean? It's just not for me.
Right.
So people got to understand that as well, man. It's because you can't go through with it. Just be honest with yourself. Move on. Hey, you know what? Maybe later on in life, you may have different experiences, and you say, you know what, I'm ready.
Because guess what, guys? When I started my first set back in, I think it was 2014 through 2015, a couple of years before that, I was watching videos. Like, I was watching videos on thick locks. And then I came across Freeform locks. That's when I first found out about them. And I was looking at a video and I was like, ew, no. Like, I literally was like, I could never have my hair like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could never. I really thought that.
That's surprising.
Oh, yeah, I never told you that.
No.
No, I mean, but that was my mindset back then.
Right.
Now I like thick locks, but it was more so from a judgmental point of view, like just from all the people around me, like, you know, I never saw locks like that for real. Like, and I didn't never like just seeing them like on video and seeing the back, like usually y'all know how like they can get. I just from it probably was like me projecting insecurities for me. Like I'm just like I could never wear my hair like that. And I just was, and then here I am, like it was like 2 years after, and I mean, I was like, you know what? How did I ever think that before? Like so, like he said, you can come around when you grow. Like, but I didn't use Freeform Locs to my self-love. Like that was literally me projecting some sort of insecurities or whatever, and I had to work through that. And like, you know, here I am now, passionate as fuck about it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Life experiences, man. It may, you know what I'm saying, it may change your thoughts, man. It just is, man. Like it's no different than, hey, a lot of times people be like, oh, they used to get their hair permed all the time. Guess what? Now you went through life experiences, and you're like, and you find out different things. You're like, you know what? I don't want to perm my hair anymore. And then you do whatever you do from there. Sometimes you might go back to perming because you're like, you know what? Well, I want to perm my hair now. You know what I'm saying? You may like, I used to do that when I was a kid or when I was younger, and now you're doing it. So you either do it or don't do it, but you're doing it from different life experiences. So if you want to go back to it, you might be like, well, I'm going back to it now, but you're going back to it just knowing certain things. You know what I'm saying? You're aware of certain things now, and
Yep.
hey, this decision you still want to make, then you can make it. If you want to have locks, you're like, you know what? You went through certain life experiences, and those life experiences may lead you to get locks, no matter what type of locks they are. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes just going through life, we change in the way we express ourselves. What we want to express ourselves changes as well.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, hair grows forever until you start balding. So, I wouldn't, really work on yourself. Like, really work on yourself and like get through things like internally with yourself. And then when you like start your journey, whatever journey it is, but like if you're trying to grow your hair like this, like just really make sure that it's for you. Like, be realistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we didn't even touch on that. People struggle. Not only do they struggle with how it looks and like internally, like with their mind, but also their surroundings. So their friends, their family, and if you
Yeah,
live
man.
with,
Friends and family, man. That's a hard thing for a lot of people, bro. I bet that's just from listening to people's videos, and I watch a lot of small YouTubers. It's the people around them. Like, it's what really makes it hard for them to have the confidence,
yes,
because yes, you go out in public and all of that stuff, but whether it's the people at work, your coworkers, and family and friends, those three things, or those three people, I should say, are the biggest, I guess, influences for people. I say pressures for people, because you're always around them. That's who you're around. That's who you got friends you hanging out with, and that's who you hang out with. Um, if you go to work, gotta see, what I'm saying, you gotta go see your coworkers and talk to them, and obviously your family. So I would say I really, there's really no advice I can really give people to how to deal with that, because I only know one way how to deal with that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's cuss people out now, not but that's to I'm pretty
I was about to be
straightforward.
like, fuck you.